Hi, I'm Alan Said Lopez from Group 602, and this is our video for our first video report for Chatbot. My teammate is Alejandro Santoyo. So, on our first week, we wanted to focus on the design of the app, how it will work and how it will look, especially how it will look. We wanted to do it as a message service like WhatsApp, like Instagram or Messenger. And here on screen, we can see how it will look. Our bot, we wanted to do it as a COVID-19 diagnosis. The bot will ask you questions and you will answer it, and depending on your answer, it will tell you something. I don't know, you have COVID, take rest, it's nothing, go to the doctor, call this number for help. That's our idea. Now, on this first week, we just focused, as I already said, on the design of the app, how it will look. Here on screen, we can see it. It's a message service. We have three people, but actually we can do, I think it's six. Yeah, six. And now, on the top, we have a spinner to choose a user. A clear message button that it will clear the message that is on the text box. Send button to send the message and it will be shown on the screen, and receive button that we just implemented as an example where when we were developing this. So now it just does nothing. Now, in the future we will have a starting menu, and the bot will ask you questions. Now we just have how it looks. For example, if I pick, let's say I'm Bob, and I say, what's the conversation? Hello, hi, Bob, what's up? Not much, but I'm doing great. How the family? Nick, how the family? Okay. Very good. Okay. Let's say it's a conversation. Okay. If I click the send button, it will send the message. I'm going to clear it, and it shows it on the screen. This is how it will look. It will only be you and the bot later on. For now, we just have users to do the example. And we can see that it is scrollable, this screen. So the messages are registered and stored. We will store them in a database, a cloud database specifically. Now, how we do this is kind of confusing at first, but it's just an extension. The thing that makes it a little confusing. We used an extension to do these messages, this type of messages specifically. Dynamic components, it's called extension. This extension can improve the appearance of the app. Especially is here we used it on chat viewers. Now, we first initialize three variables. First, with a list of users. Here we have the users: Bob, Nick, Dave, Sue, Jan, and Anna. Each one has a back image. For example, Bob has a green square, Nick has a gray square, and Sue has a red square. And a logo. The logo is the one that we can see on the messages on the extreme right or the extreme left, the persons that are there. That's the list for the first list for. We will use it later when we select an item on the spinner. Now we initialize another two variables. Base HC align, that is set to 1. I will explain it later, but it's basically the position of our messages in the screen. And the another variable that is called last user. This variable we will use it to know which was the last user used. Now, for now, when we click the button send, it has a condition that this is if our selection is not the last user, our variable last user, it will set the position base HC align to a condition that basically if it is equal to 1, then it will set it to 2, else it will set it to 1. This we will use it later on the procedure that I have below. Now, then we have a for loop for each item in list get global users, the first variable that I explained. It will call the procedure that creates the message. It has 5 inputs: text, HC align. Text is just the text that is on our text box. HC align is the position of our message. If it's 1, it's on the left, and if it's 2, it's on the right. That's why Bob is on the right, and Nick is on the left, and Sue is on the right, and Bob then is on the left. It has another 3 more inputs: back image, that is the rectangles, color rectangles; icon, that is the icon of persons; and time. The time, we use the clock with an instant of now, and with the pattern years, months, days, hours, and minutes. Then it sets the last user to the index 1 of our list get item. Now I'm going to explain the spinner, the one that is above here. It has an input that is called selections. If our selection is not equal to 1, our selection index is not equal to 1, the first one, then the message is it will show a message that how can I explain it? You can see it clearer on our document, but basically it shows here below on the text box who is writing. Then that's the spinner. It just moves the who is writing. Then we have the bottom one that when we click it, it will set the again below the message of who's writing. Now it's the procedure. This is the long part. I'm not going to explain it fully, but just the concepts, because it's too long. It has 5 inputs that I already explained: text, HC align, back image, icon, and time. These 5 icons, these 5 inputs, we will determine the position, the position of the block message, the icon used, the time used, the back image, and the text. Now, it has inside more procedures of the extension. Basically, first we create the message with a component, with the vertical arrangement component. We have a local, how it's called, a local variable called ID. The ID is just who's writing, but in numbers. And all this we see it on a tutorial how we did it. But basically it just creates with a function inside the extension first the position that it has, then the height, then the width, then how it's aligned horizontal, and then it creates a space between the messages. That's the first input, the HC align. Then we have the I think it was the who's writing. It is the it's the image used. There is just one function inside that has the name image with the value of back image. It's just the image that is on the background. Then it will create the position of the text with more values like with percent, align vertical, height, align horizontal, and all that we just set it so that we can see it like we can see it here on the app. For the time, it's pretty much the same. Everything is just uh, where it's located and the position where it's located and how it looks, how big it is, how small it is, the width, the height, all the procedures that I don't know really how to explain it. You can see it on the document. It's just that. Okay, here we go. Now, later on, we will do the start menu, the results. We have we have a diagram explaining our interview that we will do to the user, the chatbot. We will use it to do that. I think it's on the document, the diagram. It will go for questions. The question number one, it will, I think the question number one is, have you been in contact with a person with COVID-19 recently? If you respond yes or no, it will send it to another one, and that's pretty much it. This was our advancement for the chatbot first week. On the next week, we want to have it all, so that in on the last week we will just do details and present it.